Hola, I'm Jason from Yapatry. Today's vlog is a special news report about the current situation in Cuenca. Let's dive in. President Noboa has declared a state of internal armed conflict, which authorizes the military to neutralize various narco groups. There are also curfews from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. I've spent most of today responding to real estate clients, friends and family about the current situation here in Cuenca. And so I thought it would be a good idea to share a video of the current situation, how we got here, what precautions we are taking, and our suggestions to clients that are on the fence about making the trip to Cuenca. So what is the current situation in Cuenca? Well, currently school classes have moved to a virtual format. The transport services do continue to operate normally, and taxis are readily available for those who need them. Now, while the streets may seem quieter than normal, life is proceeding pretty much as usual for many residents, and it is essential to highlight that supermarkets are well stocked and we're not witnessing any of the mass hysteria that we did during previous disruptions like the Paro in 2022. Transport hubs, including airports, are operational, albeit with restrictions. For example, at airports, you will only be allowed into the terminal if you have a valid ticket. Hospitals in Cuenca are also focused on treating only those cases they deem to be emergencies. Now, whilst the government has suggested it's a good idea to work from home, they haven't made it mandatory. Some businesses have chosen to close their doors today as a precautionary measure. However, it's important to know that this is not a widespread trend, and many establishments are currently open, including supermarkets like Supermaxi, Gran Aki, Coral. They all remained open today, as did most of the major shopping centers. At Yapatry Properties, we've taken some small precautions today, like rescheduling our appointments in El Centro, but it has largely been business as usual as we've been conducting viewers for both renters and buyers. And if I'm being honest, it's really quite calm and serene on the streets right now, but this obviously can change in an instant, so it's important that we don't become complacent. How did we get here? Now, there has been a mounting security crisis over the past several years in Ecuador, with the homicide rates reaching record heights in 2023. The surge in violence can be traced back to the strengthening of the criminal gangs, with more than 20 of these operating in the country. These gangs have become powerful entities thanks to the substantial income they've derived from the drug trade. These criminal organizations have established their main command and operation centers within the prisons in Ecuador, forming major connections with drug cartels of Mexico and Colombia. The lucrative drug trade has turned Ecuador into a significant regional hub for the storage, processing, and distribution of drugs. The infiltration of the narco trade into the institutions of the state has allowed the escape of key figures like Fito, the leader of Los Llaneros. This escape was a key trigger to the president's response of introducing a curfew and decrees allowing the military use of force. The key question is now, how effective will Ecuador's military be in taking control of the country's prisons? For more history, there is a really good Vice article, which I'm going to link to in the description. But it is important to note that most of the violence that has occurred along the coast of Ecuador, and to date, very little of this violence has impacted Cuenca. Now, because of this, it is very tempting to think that in our Cuenca bubble, that we're perfectly safe out of harm's way. Now, we most likely will be in Cuenca, but that doesn't mean that we're completely immune to the same sort of issues that have plagued the coast if the situation does take a turn for the worse. So what are some precautions that we're suggesting? In these times of uncertainty, it is important to get your information from reliable sources, and please be careful of media outlets that are trying to sensationalize the issue just for clicks. That's really not helpful for anybody here. One good local source of news information is La Voz de Tomebamba, which I'll link to below. And exercise caution when you're moving around. So yes, the tranvia and the buses are still operational, but we would advise against any unnecessary travel, especially if you're going to crowded areas. And we'd also suggest ensuring that you have adequate essentials at home. Without resorting to hoarding or panicking, supermarkets here are well stocked, but it is wise to have sufficient resources at home, especially the necessities, in case things do change, and so you can then avoid unnecessary outings. Also, make sure you do have enough bottled gas in your house, so maybe just top up. Again, no need to hoard or panic, but definitely make sure that you have enough for your family for the next couple of weeks. So we did some supermarket shopping today at Grand Aki, and we stocked up on some essentials like rice, lentils, and other non-perishable items. It was a bigger shop than normal, but it was certainly nothing crazy. I think it was $150 or something like that, and for our family of 5, that's a pretty standard shop for us on a weekly basis. From a business point of view, we're lucky in that we're relatively unaffected. We mainly work in real estate here at Yappa Properties, and that means that we can conduct our viewings in private, mostly as business as usual. We did reschedule some of our appointments in El Centro today, but honestly, we were largely unaffected by all this, at least today. But in saying that, each business is very different, and I do completely understand why some are choosing to keep a low profile for a day or two and just simply not open. Probably the number one question that I've been asked today is, should I still come to Cuenca? And our general suggestion to this question is, if you've already made a commitment, i.e. maybe you've got your trip organized, you've purchased plane tickets, accommodation, that sort of thing, then I personally would still continue with the trip. But if you are on the fence and you haven't made any real commitment yet, then I would just suggest waiting a few days to see how the dust settles and then make your commitment. But please do as much research on this as possible. Don't just take my advice on this. It is your life and it's your safety. And the last real point I want to make is that I think it's important that as a community we remain calm and we don't give in to panic, and we're wary of some of the mass hysteria events that can occur. Yesterday there was a mass hysteria event that occurred in Cuenca, particularly in Park Calderon area in the heart of Cuenca. And there were certainly some incidents that did happen in Cuenca yesterday, like for example, that the guards in the Turi prison were taken hostage. But a lot of the other stuff, like bombings, shootings and stuff like this, a lot of these were just sort of rumors or false information that was simply not verified or substantiated. They still haven't been substantiated, a lot of these. And so please just double check your sources before you do post anything, and always try to get verification from multiple sources if possible. Fear-mongering is certainly a key tactic used by terrorists, and it's important that we do stay calm in the face of these challenges. As we navigate these challenging times, it is very unlikely that there is going to be a quick fix. It took us years to get to this point, and so we can't really expect it to change overnight either. Unity and accurate information are our strongest allies right now, and whilst we at Yappa we're not a news channel, we just simply don't have the resources for that, we are committed to helping you make informed decisions so you can live your best life in Cuenca. So please, stay connected, stay calm, stay informed, and stay safe. Jason here from Yappa signing out. Ciao, ciao.